Hi, and welcome. I'm really glad you're here. I'm Demeter DeLune. I'm a sex-positive educator, just trying to change the world one word at a time. Today we're going to talk about questions that you can ask your partner, your lover, spouse, whatever name you call them, that helps you get to know them a little better. And I'm going to give you some of my answers just for fun. Whether you're just starting a relationship or you've been together for what seems like forever, talking about sex can still be uncomfortable if it's not the usual for you and your partner. But communication is one of the cornerstones of a healthy relationship, even though talking about sex can be complicated. Society pressures us, especially as women, not to be vocal about what we desire sexually. And even men, they're expected to just want it all the time, go for it, do it, be done. Definitely not sit around and talk about it. But when it comes to someone you're having sex with or planning to have sex with, there's no question that's out of the realm of possibility, or there shouldn't be. This is the person you're literally opening your body to. So anything you want to say or ask should be fair game. So why not make it fun? Let's get started. Do you prefer sex at night, in the morning, mid-afternoon, or right now? Well, for me, as a general rule, I just like sex. I'm not particular about the time of day, but with that said, there's not a lot better than getting woken up first thing in the morning with morning sex. Question 2. Have you ever had sex with someone whose name you never knew? There was a time that I would never have admitted to this, but yes, I have. When my ex and I were swingers, we attended a number of swingers parties, and at times, yes, we did know the people that we ended up engaged with ahead of time because we talked through dating apps and adult friend finder, stuff like that. But other times, we would just hook up on site. Now, granted, we were still safe, but asking someone's name isn't necessarily part of being safe sometimes, and we would just go with the flow. I've also had a couple of one-night stands where I knew there wasn't going to be a repeat performance for one reason or another, and finding out a name just didn't seem important. Funny story, though. I did have a friend with benefits for about a year named John. Based that on the name that was on his email. So about a year into our friendship, found out that wasn't his name, completely by accident. I didn't really care whether it was or not. It's just kind of funny how it happened. So I was leaving his apartment one afternoon and his roommate was coming home. And he said, "Oh, hi, you must be Justin's friend." I just nodded and continued walking to my car and laughed hysterically. Question 3. Have you ever fantasized about one of your teachers? I think most people probably have, and if you haven't, I'm very sorry that you did not attend a school where you had a hot teacher. Mine didn't happen until I was in 10th grade, and my biology teacher was just absolutely gorgeous. Every female at our school, teachers included, had some kind of crush on this man. He was very self-assured, intelligent, and maybe just a little bit cocky. Found out a few years later he was resoundingly gay, so none of us had a chance to start with. Does naughty talk get you turned on? Yes, but it depends on my mood. Out of the blue one night while my husband and I were having sex, he said, "I'm going to use you like my little fuck doll." And I just absolutely drenched the bed. But if we had been in the mood of, sweet, slow, tender lovemaking, I likely would have gotten up and walked out of the room. But since we were, engaging in some BDSM and a little bit rougher, situation, it was very appropriate and hot. So when you're dealing with your partner, read the room. What's the most flattering thing that someone has ever said about your naked body? As you can see, I'm not a small woman. Throughout my adult life, I've struggled with body image issues and have made leaps and bounds in coming to terms with loving myself. But many years ago, when my self-esteem was pretty low, I met a gentleman who had a fetish for bigger girls. Wasn't too sure about meeting him at first because I didn't know if being with him would be a boon for my self-esteem or if it would just make me feel objectified. I am glad I met him, though, because up until that point, I had rarely ever believed someone when they said something nice about my body. The entire time we were together, he couldn't keep his hands off my rolls, every little soft, squishy spot. He just couldn't seem to help himself. He would squeeze my hips, pull me towards him, and constantly tell me how sexy my fluff was. But not only did he tell me, he showed me. He didn't avoid parts of my body. He didn't care whether the lights were on or off. Showing is definitely a lot more important than just telling. Is there a song or genre of music that turns you on? Well, I'll go ahead and talk about my age some here. Anything by Enya or Enigma, and I'm instantly ready to get in bed and do dirty things. The bass beat and the chanting is what does it for me. It's just, the vibrations just roll through my body, and it's definitely time to go do something dirty. If you had to choose only one position for the rest of your life, what would it be? This is a hard one. I love so many, but I think I would actually choose missionary. There's just so many things you can do in this position, so it makes it a favorite of all time. And as much as I love cowgirl or being on top, I'm pretty sure my knees couldn't handle that as my only choice for the rest of my life. Plus, if you think about it, in missionary, there's really not a lot you can't do. There's so many sexy questions that we can ask our lovers to get the naughty juices flowing, and I hope that these can at least get you started. What are some questions that you would like an answer to? Would you like for me to answer personally? Just leave a comment and we can talk.